to pray. There's no angels where I go, only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kiro Show here. Alright, well, some good news. I got my issues resolved and, well, I'm not being fired. But apparently, I did bring up a very good issue with the system at my work. There's this glitch where you can basically, if you aren't properly logged out of the system and someone else logs in, you can view their schedule instead of yours, having it overlaying on the display. Basically, you log into their account. With that, I brought it up to a different manager and got it resolved. Oh. That's some good news, so I want to begin recording for the day. Whoa. Excuse me. Now, where we last left off, Deku, he had just saved Bakugo from the sludge villain with the help of Toga, Momo, and Todoroki. Now, let us begin. Deku and, well, I want to say they would all go to hang out, but Deku, he's basically running home real quick so he can put on some new clothes. Now, he's actually running at, I want to say, 28 miles an hour, so around Usain Bolt's speed. And I want to say All Might would actually be coming to try and catch Deku. Now, he's basically leaping atop the rooftops as he's watching this. Now, this is whenever he would finally just land, and he would actually just hold out his hand, actually grabbing Deku by the shirt, as, well, Deku would just basically be lifted off the ground. Young man, please slow down. You actually may hurt somebody. Sorry. But, wait, what are you doing here? Oh, yes, well, I did want to talk to you. Now, but please just don't run away. Okay. As All Might would buff down. As soon as that happens, he would immediately begin coughing up blood as Deku just immediately turns his head away. Young man? Sorry. Reaction. As he turns his head looking back to All Might. Wait, what the? As All Might will give the explanation, basically convincing them that he is the real All Might after showing him the injury. And everything that has happened along with more explanations. With that being said, he would offer Deku one for all. Deku would just tell All Might that he would accept one for all, but it's, as he said, it's a quirk enhancer, so that's not a good idea, as it can make him more vampiric. With the fact that he's barely able to stay in the sun for not even an hour, it might make that time less. In fact, the drawbacks to his dad's quirk are very bad. Or at least that side. So he doesn't want them to get any worse. All Might would understand this, as he wasn't really thinking of that. He was just thinking about it amping every other ability. Deku would just immediately just step into the shade as he would sit down, telling All Might that, well, let me think. Who could you, as Bakugo would immediately interrupt. You again? Fuck. Well, let me just tell you one thing. I didn't need your help. Actually, yes, you did. The look on your face, you were scared shitless. But, I don't care. I helped you, and you're just an asshole. Besides, as Bakugo would just go on saying that doesn't matter. He could have taken out that villain in an instant if he wanted to. He just didn't want to, as Deku would just say, you didn't want to cause any damage. Well, you blew out a couple buildings and took out the windows to the gym. Good for you. Now, I don't care. You think you're better than me? No. But I do need to get home soon. Why? Because I'm starting to get hungry. Now, as he says that, Bakugo would just see Deku just turn his head and just bare his fangs. You really are a villain. As Bakugo would walk off, All Might would just come around the corner asking Deku if he really needed to do that. Well, sorry about that. It's just, if he saw you, he might put two and two together. What do you mean? You're still wearing the same clothes. Oh. Anyways, young man, who do you think should get my quirk? Um, hmm. I need to go home. I can try and at least think of a few people and help you with that. Now, Deku would go home and finally change into some new clothes. On the fact that he would have to throw away his shirt and, well, get proper clothing. Now, he would actually go meet up with Toga, Momo, and Todoroki, as they're all basically just studying together, so they can get more information for UA. Now, with this, they would all be talking about different subjects, and Deku's trying to figure out who should try and get one for all. As people can see he's visually distracted, they're just asking what's going on. He would just explain that he's kind of just thinking of a bunch of different things right now, but, well, dude, calm down. Okay, never mind. As they would all just go back to studying. A month would pass, and eventually Deku would meet with All Might. All Might's asking Deku who should go, well, if he's picked one of his friends. Deku would say that he has, but it's been a bit difficult. Todoroki has that half quirk, and Toga has a copy quirk. So if one of them were to get one for all, that might not be a good idea. But, well, Momo, she could be a good candidate. Now, that being said, All Might's still curious, as he would explain Momo's quirk better and things would start to get interesting. Momo would basically come down to the beach and meet with Deku. She's still confused, asking if they're gonna basically do a run or something or train here today. Deku would just say no, as he would introduce Momo to All Might, and, well, she does what any typical fan would do. Ask questions, try and get some answers, and, well, be surprised whenever All Might does buff down. With that, she would be told about everything going on so far, as All Might would offer her his quirk. She's in shock, as she would just ask why didn't he take it. Deku would give his explanation, and she would understand. She would accept it and be told about this whole eat this scenario, which still confuses her, as Deku's just standing there trying not to laugh. Now, afterwards, All Might would basically explain that this is a bit, well, just try and keep it on the down low, but if need be, well, if their friends do start getting suspicious, just try and make up excuses or do anything like that. Deku would just tell All Might that that's not a good idea. In fact, you did say you had a time limit, correct? Well, yes, but then I believe if we just open the door by letting them know about this, then you can basically not have to use that form. You said the other day or last month that you already put enough strain on your body just going over your time limit, burning it out even further, so I suggest you just stop. As All Might would just buff down again. I can't believe this. Well, you do make a valid point, but I can't just let everyone know. Well, you already have people who know, correct? Yes, but then the fact being, if we just keep and hide secrets from our friends, that's not a good idea. I'm gonna tell them. You can't tell them. All Might, please. They would be arguing back and forth until Momo would just agree with Deku, saying that if they hide this actually might make things a bit worse. Basically, they've known a lot of them for a long time. If Momo just suddenly develops a new quirk, that is going to be very bad news. Now, that being said, Deku would basically just call Todoroki and Toga down to the beach, as they would be surprised to meet All Might. Now, they are in shock, and they would go over the entire scenario Momo just went through, as Deku would explain as much as he can. Now, they would just be talking, and Deku would just say, if they're going to get into UA, then they've got to train harder. Along with the fact that now that All Might's passed down his quirk, they need to do a little bit of catching up. Because Deku just thinks, Momo's going to be at All Might level off the bat. So they would begin training. All Might would basically instruct Deku on different ways to try and train his regeneration, but, well, Deku's more scorched earth, basically. So him and Todoroki would just spar, and Deku just wouldn't guard against anything he attacks. Deku just wouldn't work on defense when attacking with Todoroki. He just goes for pure offense, basically trying to go through his fire or ice as fast as possible, busting through it to try and get to him. Now, with that, All Might would actually watch these two spar, as Todoroki is only using his fire side. He's confused, as whenever Deku does actually come over to his right side, Todoroki just immediately brings out his leg and actually just blasts ice in that direction, as he would actually turn and fire, basically catching Deku. Deku would begin to burn as he immediately just pats down his arm. Now, Momo and Toga are actually watching this, as Momo would just instruct Toga to copy her quirk. Toga would just pull out, well, they exist in real life. It's a bit complicated to explain. They're basically these spring-loaded syringes. Basically, if you were to poke it into your arm, it can extract, I believe, 50 milliliters of blood in, well, 2 seconds, I believe. It's very complicated, but she eventually did make it. It just took a bit of time. Now, she would immediately just poke Momo in the arm with this, as it would extract the blood. She would immediately just take the cap off and actually just drink it. I was going to say, she just takes the cap off, drinks it, and screws it back on. Now, with that, she would immediately just morph into, well, Momo, but she would also just begin creating a staff, as Momo would do the same. These two would go over some basics that they know already before they would slowly start building up more intensely. All Might is actually watching this, as he's really intrigued. Now, eventually, Deku would be worn down after a 30-minute sparring session, where he is quite literally just out in the open with his shirt on, because he does not want to damage his clothes. Now, Deku, he as soon as the fight gets actually heating up, this is whenever Deku, he would notice that he's already starting to spark into fire. So he would just immediately just run over to the shade and pat himself down. As everyone would see this, they'd actually go over and rest. Deku is actually exhausted because his stamina has been making up for his regeneration speed. With that, they would continue doing this for the next couple months. Now, okay, I'll have enough time for the answer. Over the next couple months, they would be doing this type of training at the beach, along with actually training with Deku's mom and dad in firearms, combat training, and, well, advanced forms of martial arts, if not starting off on some of the basics they've already gone over in the past 3 years of the time skip. That being said, Momo does create firearms and she is very good with them, along with Toga actually, well, working on her agility and the way she can work with knives. Basically studying the human body to find non-lethal ways to extract quite a bit of blood from them. Basically, she would know where every artery in the human body is and be able to aim not close to it, but away from it. At least knowing the best ways to extract the blood from the person. And she would actually perform, if not start learning about the combat technique where you can punch and actually just, well, disable nerves by hitting a lot of specialized areas in the body. Now, with that, they would all be going over and training with this, and let us do another time skip to the entrance exam. Actually, no, I did not go over this. The next day, back after the, well, events where Momo got one for all, she did notice her quirk improve, and she actually did try using it. She did throw 100% at the ocean, but she did find that it broke her arm, as she would begin immediately screaming in pain. All Might would basically instruct her that she just needs to calm down and basically try letting the power flow through her next time. Now, this would take some time as over the next months, Momo would be learning more about what this exactly means. She would just think that she just needs to train harder to control that, so she would be doing so. Until, let's say, Inko would actually find Momo basically trying to work on this. She would see Momo basically charging one for all per arm, as she does try and bring it down, if not, well, lower her percentage. She's immediately confused at what she's doing, as she would just ask Momo, like, what's happening, as Momo would immediately get, well, surprised, and she would immediately just, like, open her fist, somewhat creating a small shockwave or a brush of air in the room. This isn't... Oh, well, that's a bit different. So, would you like to explain this? Oh, it's, shit. Let me guess. Your quirks evolved. What? Your quirk, you've been able to create different things, correct? Yes. So, with training it, you're able to create quirks now. I don't know what you... Well, this is gonna be a predicament. As she was basically just coming up with this excuse until Deku would basically have to explain everything that's going on, along with asking how much his mom actually does know about All Might. Now, I do want to say All Might would have talked to Celine before after his injury, and she knows he was injured prior, but she does not know about his weakened form or state. Now, that being said, let us cut to the entrance exam. Momo has been able to regulate her body, but she can only bring one furl in her arms for now. These movements are very stiff and they're not very well regulated, along with the fact that she can actually put it into her feet or legs, but even then, that is still quite annoying. All Might would just explain more in detail about it until she would finally figure out what she needs to do. She would basically let it flow throughout her entire body and find that she's actually at 15%. She would do so as she would basically tell All Might that this is actually a lot better and he should have just led with this. He would just explain that he tried to, but she clearly didn't get his meaning. Now, they would all go to the entrance exam as people are somewhat staring at Deku. They would all walk in and, well, it would go very similar to canon with Ida, just interrupting a different person this time. He's interrupting Bakugo because he's actually just shouting and screaming at someone next to him, and Deku and everyone is just sitting quietly. Now, they are actually put into their respective combat courses, or combat portion of the exam, and Deku did score close to the highest. I want to say he actually did score the highest because Momo is more focused on trying to learn about this new quirk. So she would tie with Todoroki for second. If not, Todoroki would be second and she would be third, above Toga. Now, for the combat portion, people are watching as Deku, he is actually just walking to the front of the line. Ida would stop him and say that he can't go to he's not going to let him pass to go talk to that girl, and Deku would just look at him confused. I'm not trying to go talk to her. I'm sorry? I don't actually know who that is. I'm so sorry, my mistake. It's just, you didn't want me to interrupt her concentration. I get it. That's exact. Oh no. Before you ask, no, not telekinesis. Or telepathy. That's not even what I was going to go with. Why are you wearing that? Oh, I'm sorry. Kind of money normal. This is because of my quirk. Quirk? Deku would just take off his hood as he begins to produce smoke from his body. What the? Vampire? I can only come out into the sunlight for a certain period of time now. I used to always have to wear this, but I still do, just in case. Okay. As Deku would just walk past Ida, saying he shouldn't be so concerned about others if he's not concerned about himself first. Now, Deku, he would just say that, and Ida's still a bit confused. What the fuck is wrong with that guy? Now, the entrance exam would begin, and Deku would immediately just start running out. As people are seeing him, he is going at a good 50, I want to say he's running at a good 50 to 70 miles an hour, and he actually is punching through, if not forcing his way through the robots. Anytime he can, he would pick up some rubble or debris from them and smash it to another one. People are very confused as he's doing all this. Now, let's say Toga is actually there with him, and she actually did copy someone's quirk. I want to say she would have tried accidentally bumping into someone and get blood in the needle. If not, at least, get blood beforehand. Let's say that she actually did copy. I want to say she copied Todoroki's quirk, just because I would love to see that in the anime. Now, she would have done that, and she's actually just blasting around fire and ice in multiple directions, as people are watching her. Now, in another arena, we have Todoroki and Momo actually doing a lot better. They're in the arena that, well, Bakugo is in, and he's very confused as to what the hell these two are. He sees this chick using this weird quirk that makes her produce electricity, and he's seeing some guy with a half and half quirk. Now, that being said, Deku, back in his arena, or, well, combat zone, they are fighting through and actually getting a lot of points. Togo would eventually run out of blood, and she would actually just have her quirk turn off. People are staring at her as she just begins running around, and she's not avoiding robots, but she's trying to climb on top of them and jump on top of them. People are somewhat weirded out and concerned as she would basically just start by trying to rip off panels and doing all this, but she would eventually find an off switch. Now, that is basically how, well, that's basically how Invisible Girl actually got into 1A, because apparently there's an off switch for people with stealth quirks to actually get in. Along with the fact that Mineta, apparently, capturing is considered destroying because it's immobilizing them. Apparently that's how he got into 1A, which I'm not even at all, can believe. Now, with that, she's basically turning off these switches as she would just take a panel she has and basically just try jumping on different robots, stabbing it into them. If not, trying to at least destroy more. Now, eventually the 0-pointer would come, and this is whenever Deku, he wouldn't be really concerned by it. He just thinks that they at least need to leave. Now, this is whenever Deku, he would hear with his advanced hearing that there's someone actually calling for help. Now, he would actually just immediately turn his head as he does try looking a bit closer. He can make out what seems to be a person, but he can just smell them better as he begins to run over. People are actually watching as Deku, he immediately just throws off his protective overshirt, and he immediately just runs in. Now, as he's doing so, people would see him, and he is just already there. As soon as he gets there, he actually does he does toss over the rubble and somewhat pick her up. As soon as that happens, this is whenever Toga, she's actually watching this, and she would run over. Deku, he would immediately just dodge to the left as he's dodging the 0-pointer. He would ask her if she's okay, and she would say she's fine, it's just she's pretty sure she's bleeding. As Deku would see the cut on her leg, he immediately just turns away, closing his eyes. Togo would just come running up saying that, do you guys need help? Yeah, just take her away, please. I'm sorry, are you okay? Oh no. She would just immediately just basically help Ochako walk away as she's explaining Deku's quirk. Now, Deku would just turn back to the 0-pointer as he actually does begin running up its arm. Now, as he's running up, people are watching him, and this is whenever Deku, he would just come in and actually try kicking the robot in the face. He does so as he actually does begin trying to basically tear into it with his hands, pulling out the red lights in his face, actually making the robot come to a stop, as he would disable its power source, and the robot would just turn off and be frozen in place. Now, I want to say he would actually get more rescue points for that, considering the fact that he did no collateral damage, along with the fact that in canon he destroyed half of the city with a punch. Now, that being said, this is where I'm going to leave things off of, guys, and I do hope you enjoyed the video, and sorry if this video has been a bit over the place. I've had to deal with a couple issues this morning, besides the whole work thing. Anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed the video, and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.